So it was understandable that the temple should play a central role in the founding of a new order. Its members called themselves the Poor Knights of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon, or for short, the Knights Templar. The men took the vows of their order before the Patriarch of Jerusalem. They promised to live in poverty, chastity, and obedience. The Templars quickly developed into one of the leading orders of knights. They saw themselves as an elite, as the spirit of Christianity. Soon, no one knew the tunnels beneath the Temple Mount better than the Templars. Did the Templars discover the legendary treasure from the Temple of Solomon in the galleries? Or did the knights use the tunnels to hide the riches they had accumulated over time? ℕ𝕆𝕋 knows that some people are still searching for the legendary treasure of the Knights Templar. Whatever that treasure might be in reality, relics, gold perhaps, or as some suspect, the Holy Grail. Or perhaps it could be secret knowledge of King Solomon's temple, which the knights revered so much.
The Templars were aware of the possibility that the treasures of the temple were still in the location. They ruled the Temple Mount for 8 years. They could have searched for this temple more than anybody that came after. But we have no evidence. We don't have archaeological evidence. We have no historical evidence that they ever found anything and took it with them.
As years passed, the Templars became more and more powerful. They did not feel accountable to any worldly authority. Back then, the order acted just like major international corporations do today. The Knights Templar manufactured goods and engaged in trade and financial operations. From the 12th century, their network of facilities spanned Western Europe. The Templars had become a confraternity that had sealed itself off hermetically. The Knights' clandestine activities were to have an impact in Europe. With their dark legend of the Temple of Solomon, the Templars influenced the secret societies that came later, like the Freemasons. In London, the British Knights Templar built their own church, Temple Church. Its circular interior is modeled on the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem. Temple Church was blessed personally by the Patriarch of Jerusalem in 1185. Paris. For many years, the French capital was the headquarters of the Order of the Knights Templar. For centuries, no one knew where the seat of the order had been located. Then, in 2011, a construction unit discovered the remains of its legendary headquarters. It was a world sensation. Prior to that, only street signs had given any indication of a society shrouded in mystery. In Paris, Marian Fussell hopes to find out whether there is a link between the Knights Templar and fraternities like the Freemasons. His research has brought him to the National Archives. Stored here are original documents from the days of the Templars, a historic treasure that could help Marian Fussell in his research. ℕ𝕆𝕋 has spent many years studying the documents. It still seems astonishing that this mighty international organization should have disappeared virtually overnight.
genauen Gründe, warum es
The exact reasons for the trial of the Templars and for the persecution of the order are still the subject of speculation today. One possible reason could be the military power it possessed. Members of the order were trained professionally and retained their weapons even in times of peace. So they constituted a serious military threat even in their own country, constituting a challenge to the king's monopoly on the use of force.
But it was not only the Templars' military clout that was a thorn in the French king's side. He too had his sights set on the knight's alleged treasure. And so Philip the Beautiful forged a plan to destroy the Templars. At dawn on October the 13th, 1307, Philip had his troops storm the Templars' residences and arrest the knights. The day has gone down in history as Black Friday. Since then, Friday the 13th has been regarded as unlucky. It was the beginning of a swift end for the Templars. For late medieval Europe, it was a shock comparable today with the sudden collapse of the entire banking system. The king wanted to eradicate the Knights Templar. The historical files tell the details. Philip the Beautiful simply concocted the allegations that were supposed to justify his brutal course of action against the Templars.
Pendant ce rite de réception, le nouveau
In the initiation ritual, the new Templar had to spit on the cross 3 times and deny Christ 3 times. Novices had to kiss the other members on the mouth, on the navel, and on the buttocks. Homosexuality was one of the classical accusations leveled at heretics. Ever since the 3rd century, heretics had been accused of being homosexual, of being in league with the devil, and of worshipping idols. At their meetings, it was alleged the Templars worshipped a bearded hen and even a black cat.
These concocted accusations proved disastrous for the Templars. No one knew anything about the inner life of the order. The general public was taken in by the lies. In this case, the strict secrecy they upheld meant the death penalty for the once so proud Knights Templar. In Paris, on March the 18th, 1314, Jacques de Molay, the fraternity's last Grand Master, was led to the stake. He never disclosed the secret of the legendary Templar treasure. Rumors were rife. The Templar ships, it was claimed, had set sail from La Rochelle, heading for an unknown destination with the treasure on board. Just a myth? Perhaps Jacques de Molay knew the truth when he was executed. The king had him burnt on damp willow. A particularly horrific